Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Ade-Conde, and I'm a Senior 2 student this year. I'm here today sharing my story, all because I said yes. I said yes to an opportunity that was far from my comfort zone. And this very act is what has allowed me to grow as a person over the years, and has made me who I am today. I came to Appleby in grade 8 5 years ago, and when I watched my first chapel speech, I thought to myself, I could never do that. So it's understandable that if you had told little grade 8 Steph that I'd be delivering a senior 2 chapel speech, I'd be in complete disbelief. If you knew me then, I was extremely quiet. Throughout my childhood, I lived in a world of my own. So much ran through my mind, yet I had so little to say. I listened, I learned, I observed, but I rarely spoke. When I first came to Appleby, silence was the extent of my comfort zone. There are two types of quiet, both of which I've identified with. One is quiet by fear, and the other is quiet by choice. Grade 8 me was definitely quiet by fear. I felt as though my thoughts and opinions weren't valuable, and because of that, I kept them to myself. I missed out on so many opportunities, like building meaningful relationships with my peers or speaking up for myself and others in unjust situations. But when I look back at my most valuable memories at Appleby, I realized that most of these things were opportunities that I said yes to, although I was initially reluctant. With each of these opportunities, I stretched my comfort zone further and further, and developed the ability to use my voice in ways that mattered to me. In grade 9, I said yes to joining the debate club as a shy girl with zero public speaking experience. So it's easy to see why my first debate speech didn't go very well. I spoke for a maximum of 30 seconds, struggling to spit out my argument between multiple ums and uhs. It was an extremely uncomfortable experience, but I ended up doing it again the week after, and the week after that. Each time I practiced, I not only became better at public speaking, but I also became more comfortable with it. It wasn't a daunting, scary task like I initially thought it was. That year, I became a finalist in the grade 9 debate competition, which would not have been possible if I didn't initially step outside of my comfort zone. In grade 10, I debated at regional tournaments, competing against people at other schools that I didn't even know. What I loved about debating is that it gave me the opportunity to speak about relevant issues for others to listen. My thought processes behind each argument were communicated and challenged. As I stood behind the podium, capturing the attention of my opponents and judges, I realized my voice holds value. Throughout the rest of my Appleby experience, I made it a goal to say yes to opportunities that would allow me to grow as a person and teach me valuable lessons, even if they made me uncomfortable. I said yes to going on a service trip to Panama, a country I've never been to, with a group of people that I'd never spoken to. And it ended up being one of the best trips of my life. Throughout my years at Appleby, I said yes to going to as many community weekend events and house dinners as I could. These events hold my best memories at this school. Pursuing unfamiliar sports, arts, and service opportunities is what has allowed me to learn more about who I am. Now I know that I'm not a runner, but I love team sports. I love drawing and creating, but working backstage on the set of a play really isn't for me. Right now, for the third term of my grade 12 year, I'm taking up tennis as a new sport. I may not be as skilled as some of my peers who have been playing it for a while, but I don't let that limit me because I find it so much fun. I feel driven to improve as much as I can and want to continue playing recreationally once I graduate. Moments before these experiences, and many more, I remember the fear, the questioning, the wondering. Is this really a good idea? Do I really need to do this? Would I really benefit from this? What if things go wrong? What if I don't get the position? What if I totally fumble my words? What if? These worries may have come true a few times, but guess what? They weren't that bad. Sometimes I did fail, but more importantly, I learned. I moved on and I tried something new. But more times than not, pursuing these opportunities allowed me to grow. Moments after these experiences, I look back and think to myself, that really wasn't that bad, and I could do that again. The past summer, I said yes to applying for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leadership role. This role has required me to take a huge leap from my comfort zone, as I'm not only responsible for leading a club, but also playing a role in challenging the institutionalized discrimination against minorities that has endured at Appleby for years. At times, it feels more uncomfortable than ever. But when it comes to the things that are important to me, like advocating for the safety and inclusion of minority groups at this school, I have to be comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Still, at times, I identify as quiet by choice. I don't always feel the need to say what's on my mind, but rather listen, observe, and learn. But now I understand that my voice can be powerful, and I'm not afraid to use it to speak up for myself and others to evoke positive change. There are things that scare some of us, but not others. For example, I love to travel and explore new places. If you didn't know, I was born in Ireland and moved to England when I was 7. When my family told me we were moving, I was extremely reluctant to leave the place I called home for what was then my entire life. But for the year I spent living in England, I loved it and was excited to explore Canada when I heard we were moving again. I've been lucky enough to travel to different countries around the world throughout my life, but even visiting a different city in Ontario 3 hours away or a new restaurant here in Oakville excites me. Traveling is now part of my comfort zone, but not everyone's. On the contrary, I'm working on asking for help when I need it. Most of the time, I try to convince myself I can handle the multiple things on my plate, but truthfully, sometimes I do need to ask a teacher to go over a difficult topic or tell a friend how I'm feeling. Asking for help is out of my comfort zone, and it's a form of discomfort I'm willing to face in order to grow. To all of you that are listening today, I want you to think of what exactly makes you most uncomfortable and ask yourself what is holding you back. Is it the fear of embarrassment, rejection, or criticism? If so, I challenge you all to challenge that because I promise you it's not worth a missed opportunity. So say yes more. And I know that the pandemic has limited us all for the past year in one way or another. But remember that even if you're stuck at home, you can always try something new and stretch your comfort zone. It's not too late to reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while or practice a new skill. Senior twos, I especially encourage you all to make the most out of the month and a half we have left of high school and your time beyond that. Many of us are moving to a new town, city, or even country. We don't know what we're in for, and that uncertainty can be daunting. But think of this as an adventure full of opportunities to learn more about yourself by embracing unfamiliarity. I want the rest of Appleby to know that your time here is valuable, and it's truly what you make of it. When the restrictions of this pandemic ease, I want you to seek those opportunities too. Try a new sport that you may not initially be good at. Apply for that leadership role. Sign up for that trip or event. You never know what you might learn about yourself. As I'm nearing the end of this speech, I can confirm it wasn't that bad. In fact, I feel honored to share lessons I've learned to a community I care about. It was definitely a leap out of my comfort zone, but I can confidently say it has been added to the list of things that have helped me grow. Thank you all so much for listening, and please rise to sing Called by Earth and Sky.